My wife is an outdoor climbing vlogger. She's almost never home and often films videos with a male vlogger. In our past life, they had agreed to cross a dangerous mountain together, but I thought it was too risky, so I stopped her from going. Later, a heavy rainstorm hit, causing a landslide. The male vlogger was struck by rocks and died, but my wife held a grudge against me because of it. She secretly poisoned me, leading me to die in bed. Before I died, she whispered angrily in my ear, "If you hadn't stopped me that day, maybe I could have saved him. It's your fault he's dead." I died in agony, but when I opened my eyes again, I was back on the day my wife was supposed to cross the dangerous mountain. This time, I withdrew the hand that stopped her. If she loves it so much, let her die in the mountains too. Chapter 1. Wife, you can't go. That mountain is too dangerous. Jacob, what now? I've told you that climbing and making videos is my job. Can you stop being so unreasonable? Hearing my wife's familiar voice and seeing her impatient expression again, a white light suddenly flashed in my mind. Am I reborn? I stared in shock, disbelief flooding my senses as I moved my body. I can move freely. I'm really not dead. I checked my phone. July 27, 2024. It was the exact same day 3 years ago when I stopped my wife from crossing that dangerous mountain. I'm back. I'm really back. My wife is an outdoor climbing vlogger who's hardly ever at home, traveling the world to make videos. In recent times, she's been getting close to another male vlogger, often meeting up with him to climb and film together. She never disclosed that she was married, so over time, many of her fans began to ship her with the male vlogger, Samuel. Her name is Gabriella, and her ID is Gabby Adventures. I've gotten angry about this before, but my wife doesn't care at all. It's just making a video. Is it really that important to you? Shipping for traffic makes money, and money means we can live well. You don't make money. I don't make money. What should we do? Starve? I feel humiliated, but I can't deny that my wife is more capable than me. But, didn't she ask me to quit my job and take care of the home back then? Samuel is the kind of person who loves adventure and enjoys excitement. The videos he films are always extremely dangerous. He's done everything from bungee jumping from 10,000 meters to skydiving and even traversing a canyon full of venomous insects. Netizens describe him as, "You're charging to your death in front, and the king of hell is chasing you from behind. Your ancestors must have smashed their foreheads on the ground in the underworld to save you." Since meeting him, my wife has often been dragged into these dangerous adventures. After filming together, her account's traffic did indeed increase, but every time she went out, she came back covered in injuries. This time, crossing the dangerous mountain was Samuel's idea. In my previous life, I had an uneasy feeling before my wife left. I checked the weather forecast, and it was going to rain heavily, making my bad premonition even stronger. For her safety, I stopped her from going, refusing to let her leave. Reluctantly, she gave up on the trip and we had a big argument. After hearing my wife wouldn't go, Samuel was disappointed and decided to go by himself. But fate had other plans. That day, the rainstorm was catastrophic. It felt like the sky had torn open, and the rain came pouring down in torrents. Ultimately, a landslide hit the dangerous mountain, and Samuel, crossing alone, was struck by rocks. His head was crushed, and his brain matter spilled out. Afterward, Samuel's family posted an obituary on his account. When my wife learned of Samuel's death, she was devastated, but she blamed me for it all. She harbored resentment and poisoned me slowly. My body was gradually destroyed by the poison until I collapsed on the hospital bed. At the end of my life, I couldn't even move a finger, and my insides ached terribly, but she whispered through gritted teeth in my ear, "If you hadn't stopped me that day, he wouldn't have died." In unbearable pain, I died on the hospital bed, my body emaciated and covered in bed sores, emitting a terrible stench. Now, God has given me a second chance. I will seize it and not repeat my mistakes this time. Chapter 2. Hey, Jacob, are you out of your mind? You're stopping me from going out, but you're just sitting there in a daze. Looking at my ridiculous behavior, my wife rolled her eyes and gave me an impatient look. Hurry up and move. I'm going to be late. Samuel is waiting for me. Okay. I quickly stepped aside and made way for her. Gabby, it's raining today. Be careful out there. Before she left, I gave her one last reminder, but she didn't care at all. So what? I've faced worse situations before. The more dangerous it is, the better the traffic. Plus, Samuel's a real man. He always pulls through in tough situations. As long as he's there, we'll make it through no problem. Not everyone is as useless as you. My wife gave me a disdainful glance before grabbing her climbing pack and hiking pole and leaving the house. With a loud bang, the door slammed shut, and I was left standing alone in the room. I looked at the closed door and smirked. Gabriella, this is what you've chosen. Prepare to pay the price for your foolishness and arrogance. Just like in my previous life, the sky quickly opened up and poured down a torrential rain. I stood by the floor-to-ceiling window, quietly watching the storm outside. The rain came fast and heavy. The weather station even issued a red rainstorm warning. Schools were forced to cancel classes, and many underground parking lots in residential areas were flooded. The strong winds were so powerful that even trees with trunks as thick as a bowl were uprooted. Breaking news: under the heavy rain, a landslide occurred at Langia Mountain. The road to the mountain has been blocked by falling rocks. Citizens are advised to avoid approaching dangerous mountains to prevent accidental injury. Seeing this new update, I cruelly curled my lips. Langia Mountain was the dangerous mountain my wife and Samuel had gone to film at. The mountain is known for its rugged terrain and frequent landslides. It's so dangerous that even locals don't dare to get too close. But my wife and Samuel chose to climb Langia Mountain in the middle of the rainstorm, driven by traffic and excitement. Just like in my previous life, Langia Mountain had another landslide. Now, either they've already died under the rocks, or they're trapped beneath the rubble of Langia Mountain. Either way, they won't come out of this unscathed. Dingling. Suddenly, my phone rang. It was my wife, Gabriella. I stared at the screen, watching the word wife flashing. I neither hung up nor answered the call. 45 seconds later, the call ended. I still sat there, quietly waiting. Chapter 3. Dingling. The phone rang again. After about 10 seconds, I picked it up. As soon as I answered, a barrage of angry curses came through the other side. Jacob, are you dead? Why didn't you answer the phone sooner? Do you have any idea how dangerous it is right now? I couldn't help but scoff internally, but I still pretended to be clueless. Sorry, honey, I just fell asleep. What happened? Help me, someone, please help me. Before my wife could finish speaking, the signal cut off. Honey, what's going on? What happened? Hello? Help. Boom. Beep beep beep. My wife only managed to say the word help before a loud explosion echoed on the other end. The call was abruptly disconnected. I knew exactly what had happened. Recalling my fate in the previous life, I almost wanted to let them both die under those falling rocks. After thinking for a moment, I dialed 110 for the police. After all, letting them die quickly wouldn't be enough to ease my hatred. Besides, my wife had called me for help, and if I ignored it, I might be held responsible. I decided to put on a show. Hello, this is the A City Police Department. How can we assist you? Help, help, my wife just called me saying she needs saving. I acted urgently, stammering as I explained to the officer what had happened with my wife's distress call. Sir, please calm down. Take your time and tell us exactly where your wife is and what danger she's in. I don't know. My wife is a vlogger. She's always out climbing mountains and filming videos. Today she suddenly told me she was going to cross a dangerous mountain with someone. I'm not sure about the details. I told the police everything I knew in a flustered manner. A dangerous mountain. Could it be Langia Mountain? Are there people trapped on Langia Mountain? Upon hearing my words, the officer became worried. Langia Mountain was already considered a high-risk area, and no one dared approach. I'm not sure. Maybe. Officer, what should we do about my wife? Sir, please don't worry. We'll arrange rescue as soon as possible. Okay. After hanging up, the police immediately began their rescue efforts. However, Langia Mountain was not only prone to mudslides but also frequent landslides, making it too dangerous for anyone, even the police or firefighters, to approach. After several unsuccessful attempts, they had no choice but to give up, deciding to wait until the rain stopped before resuming the rescue. Mr. Jacob, please try to stay calm. We're just as concerned about your wife being trapped, but the rain is too heavy for rescue operations to proceed right now. I understand. You've all done your best. My wife, thank you for understanding. Rest assured, once the rain stops, we'll carry out the rescue immediately. Thank you so much. Serving the people is our duty. The heavy rain lasted a full day and night before it finally stopped. Once the rain cleared, the rescue operations resumed. However, Langia Mountain remained extremely dangerous, with rocks continuing to fall sporadically. For safety's sake, the rescue team had to proceed with extreme caution. Another day and night passed, yet they still hadn't found my wife and Samuel. Thankfully, there were no more falling rocks. After receiving permission from the police, I rushed to the rescue site. In front of the cameras, I acted as desperately as I could, helping to clear debris and crying uncontrollably. Honey, where are you? Where are you? How can I live without you? Firefighters quickly pulled me up, trying to calm me down. Sir, please don't worry. We'll rescue your wife soon. The reporters present were deeply moved by my display and began to report my actions. One of them said to the camera, "In the face of disaster and misfortune, we witness the most sincere love between a married couple. Let's all support them, believing that love can overcome everything, and hope that the ones trapped in the mountains can survive safely." After my dramatic display of love and determination to dig through the mountain with my bare hands, I became a viral sensation. Many netizens were deeply touched by my actions. So moved. Oh my God, what is happening? How could the heavens allow such a loving couple to be torn apart? I envy that woman so much. She has a husband who loves her so deeply, willing to risk his life to carve a path to survival for her. I wish I had a husband like that. If I were in her shoes, my husband would probably be overjoyed, popping fireworks to celebrate because he finally has some space. Please, that woman must be okay. If anything happens to her, how devastated will this man be? Watching him beg on the ground, I feel so heartbroken for him. My video, where I knelt in the mud pleading for her safety, went viral across the internet, and I became the beloved, devoted husband, praised by everyone. By the afternoon, my wife and Samuel were finally rescued from a pile of rocks. This time, they were lucky enough to survive. However, my wife was left permanently disabled, with her legs ruined and her face disfigured. She would never be able to stand again and would spend the rest of her life in bed. As for Samuel, he was physically weak but survived, falling into a coma. After learning the details, I discovered that it was my wife who had shielded Samuel from the worst of the disaster. She thought she was sacrificing for love, but it was all a joke. When my wife woke up in the hospital, the first thing she saw was her face, completely bandaged and unrecognizable. Chapter 4. My wife completely lost it. Ah, my face, what happened to my face? Why did my face turn into this? She trembled as she covered her face, her voice shaking. Honey, don't be like this. The doctor said your face was scratched by rocks, and it will heal. I pretended to comfort her. She grabbed my hand tightly, glaring at me. It will heal, right? My face will definitely return to normal, won't it? Hearing her words, I hesitated. Honey, don't be too upset. The doctor said your face got infected with fungus because it was soaked in rainwater for so long, and the tissue has grown. It's very hard to recover. How could this happen? My face, ah. My wife couldn't accept the truth, screaming in agony. She tried to sit up but then realized something about her body. She couldn't feel her legs at all. She trembled and asked me, my legs, what happened to my legs? Why can't I feel them at all? What happened to my legs? Honey, your legs are broken. The doctor said you'll never be able to stand again. I wiped away tears and choked out the bad news. How could this happen? How could this happen? How can I climb mountains with Samuel without my legs? She murmured in pain. Then, she gritted her teeth and glared at me. It's all your fault. It's all your fault. You useless thing. If you hadn't been so slow in rescuing me, how could this have happened? It's all your fault. Chapter 5. While my wife screamed at me in fury, she grabbed something nearby and threw it at me. Go die. Jacob, why don't you go die? You're so useless. Why don't you just die? As she raged, a reporter from a live streaming interview entered the room. My situation had already attracted a lot of attention, and the reporter had contacted me earlier to do a live interview. Seeing them, I immediately started begging in a pitiful manner. Honey, please forgive me. I didn't mean it. I'm begging you. Don't hit me anymore. I really tried my best. Try your best. Why did you wait so long to rescue me? If you really tried your best, why am I like this now? It's all your fault. Seeing me cower, my wife's anger only intensified. I kept explaining, honey, please don't be angry. The rain was too heavy, and the rescue teams didn't dare go up the mountain. We could only wait for the rain to stop and then. Why didn't they go up the mountain to rescue me? Isn't it their duty to serve the people? If they're so afraid of dying, what good are they? My wife sneered dismissively. Honey, don't say that. The firefighters and police officers are human too. We can't just sacrifice their lives to save yours, can we? Why not? Isn't that their job? We pay so many taxes every year to support them, and they can't even do their job right. They're just greedy and lazy, taking money without doing anything. Do you know who I am? I'm a vlogger with millions of followers. Do you have any idea how much value I create for society every year and how much tax I pay? I'm a valuable person. Isn't saving me much more important than their insignificant lives? Besides, they rescued me, but they were so slow. My face and my legs are ruined. My whole life is ruined. You want me to thank them? What a joke. My wife's attitude was extremely hostile, belittling the officers and firefighters who had saved her life. You're impossible. The reporter, enraged, turned red in the face. How can you think like this? No matter what, they risked their lives and worked tirelessly for days to rescue you. You're not grateful, and yet you curse them to die. But my wife was completely indifferent. So what? That's their job, isn't it? Why should I thank them? Do you think I should praise them for doing what they're paid to do? You know what? I'm a vlogger with millions of fans, and I pay my taxes. I'm a valuable person. They should have saved me sooner. Instead, they were slow, and now my face and my legs are ruined. I lost everything because of them. The reporter was visibly disgusted by her lack of empathy and her selfishness. You don't deserve to be saved. I thought you and Jacob had a love story for the ages. But now I see what you're really like. It's heartbreaking for Jacob, who gave you his heart, to be treated like this, the reporter said, out of breath, defending me. Pfft, really? He gave me his heart. Ha! He's a useless coward. He's been useless his whole life. If he hadn't been so slow, I wouldn't be in this mess. Everything that's happened to me is his fault. I was blind when I married him. If I had met Samuel earlier, I would be 100, 1,000, 1,000,000 times happier than I am now. Chapter 6. My wife's unreasonable tantrums and arrogant behavior immediately drove the reporter who came for the interview away. Before leaving, he sympathetically said to me, "Mr. Jacob, you are truly pitiful to end up with such a wife. I'm so sorry, my wife. She. Sigh. Let's not talk about it. What bad luck." After the live broadcast was released, netizens were left in shock. They never imagined that the once beautiful love story would have such a tragic turn. Oh my God, I can't believe it. It's true. The ideal love doesn't exist in real life. My rose-colored glasses have shattered. Unreasonable wife. Broken man. This guy's life is so miserable. He did everything to save her, and even after she became disabled and disfigured, he never abandoned her. And yet, in the end, this is what he gets. This woman is unbelievable. What is she saying? That her life is more important than the firefighters? Does she think their lives are so worthless? My son is also a firefighter. He comes home covered in injuries from training. Every time I see him, I can't help but cry. But after seeing this woman today, I feel so bad for them. They are human beings, too. They're someone's sons, husbands, and fathers. Who is she to say such things? This kind of person should have died on the mountain. She doesn't deserve to live. The online backlash was intense, with netizens fiercely criticizing my wife. Soon, they uncovered her identity and discovered that she was the famous vlogger with millions of followers, Gabi. Gabi loves adventure, and the excellent partner she had mentioned was, of course, Samuel. Now, not only were those who criticized my wife voicing their anger, but even the fans who had once shipped them were left heartbroken. They felt utterly deceived. Am I the only one who thought my favorite ship was just a rumor? So disgusting. This woman kept saying she was single, and yet she was out there with Samuel creating shipping content. I even shipped them with genuine feelings. And now I find out she's been married all along and has the nerve to shame her husband. I've been a fan for years, always liked her filming style, but when she started working with Samuel, they began playing with fire in dangerous places and acting all flirtatious. I wasn't fond of it, so I unfollowed. I heard the man quit his job to support her and stay at home, but she was out there cheating with another man. I heard that before they went up the mountain, people warned them that the rain would make it dangerous, but they stubbornly ignored it. These kinds of people shouldn't have been saved. Let them die on the mountain. With this public outcry, both my wife and Samuel's reputations were in tatters. Seeing how the public opinion was turning, Samuel immediately recorded a video to make a statement. In the video, Samuel, looking weak and lying in a hospital bed, addressed the camera and distanced himself from my wife. "Thank you all for your concern. I'm doing fine now. I'd like to thank the rescue personnel who tirelessly pulled me from the rubble. Thank you. Without you, I might have been dead by now. You are my lifesavers. Real heroes." Samuel bowed to the camera repeatedly as he spoke. Also, Gabriella, the main person behind the Gabi account, is just a good collaborator of mine. We're only friends. Please don't speculate too much about our relationship. I'm truly sorry to hear that she got injured, and I hope she recovers soon. I also wish her a happy and fulfilling life with her husband. Seeing Samuel, I almost couldn't hold back my laughter. His attempt at killing the donkey after unloading the cart was brilliant. He not only distanced himself from my wife, but he also used her as a stepping stone to gain public favor, all while hypocritically thanking the rescue team. When my wife saw the video, she was stunned, unable to move a muscle. Chapter 7. She couldn't believe that the men she had loved so deeply had abandoned her like this. She muttered in disbelief. How could this happen? How could this happen? Samuel would never do this to me. It's impossible. What do you mean? Just friends? What do you mean? No romantic feelings? Then what were all the confessions he made to me all these years? What about all my sacrifices for him? I saved him when he was in danger. I became like this because of him. It's impossible. I don't believe it. I don't believe Samuel could be so cruel to me. I can't believe he'd do this to me. I looked at her, and for the first time in a long while, I felt a sense of relief. In the past life, she had poisoned me slowly and caused my death because of that man. In this life, she had gone to great lengths to save him, but now she had been abandoned and was nothing more than a stepping stone for him to climb to the top. I didn't feel any sympathy for her. I only wished for her to be more miserable. The more miserable, the better. I handed her the phone. Ask him yourself. She grabbed her phone desperately, sending a message to Samuel in a panic. Her note for Samuel read, "My dearest Samuel, Samuel, you didn't mean what you said, right? I saved you. And you once said I was the woman you loved most in this world. How can you say this to me? How could you abandon me? Samuel quickly replied. This was all just a misunderstanding on your part. If my actions gave you the wrong impression, I apologize. But you're already married, and I've never had feelings for you. You should focus on recovering and live a good life with your husband. It's impossible. It's impossible. How could this happen? My wife collapsed, crying uncontrollably, still sending messages to Samuel. Samuel, you can't do this to me. If you think I'm ugly now, I can get plastic surgery. I'll go under the knife for you. I can be even more beautiful than before. I'll do anything to make you like me. Please, don't abandon me. Without your love, I'll die. You can't do this to me. Her hands were trembling as she typed, but after hitting send, the only thing she got in return was that glaring red exclamation mark. Samuel had blocked her. How could this happen? How could this happen? It was a mistake. It had to be a mistake. He can't do this to me. Bang. She angrily threw the phone. The once perfect phone shattered into pieces on the floor. Chapter 8. No. I have to go find him. I need to ask him why he did this to me. She struggled to get up, but with her disabled body, she couldn't even crawl. She fell to the floor, her already broken body crashing onto the ground. I stood above her, looking down. Her legs would never stand again. To save Samuel, her legs had been crushed by a boulder, with powder-like fractures in the bones. Help! Help me! She cried, tears streaming down her face, and I just stood there, watching her in silence. Jacob, what are you standing there for? Help me up. Are those 2 holes in your head just for breathing? Even in this state, she still ordered me around without hesitation, but I helped her up, pushing her in a wheelchair to see Samuel. After all, what could be more devastating than her seeing the men she had loved for 2 lifetimes throw her aside in person? I was struggling to hold back my excitement at the thought of her completely breaking down. When we reached Samuel's hospital room, I overheard a flirtatious voice inside. Oh, Sam, you're so bad. You're already touching me even though you're not fully recovered. Little wildcat, don't you like it? I think you're enjoying it quite a lot. You still say that. Come on, confess. What exactly is your relationship with that Gabriella? Why is the whole internet saying you 2 are having an affair? What am I, then? Your mistress? The woman in Samuel's arms snorted unhappily. How could she compare to you? I was just having fun with her. You know, before I worked with her, I was just a small vlogger. But after working with her, I became a big-name influencer. I made a lot more money, and I bought you bags with it. You, little money lover, don't you like that? When Samuel mentioned my wife, his tone was full of disdain. I'm being the bigger person here. I won't bother with her. After all, that Gabriella is now disfigured and crippled. How can she compare to me? My sweet little treasure is right. She's just a useless person now. And she's so stupid to say all those things on camera. I'm going to be the most famous outdoor vlogger from now on. Ha 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 ha. Hearing this, my wife's face turned an ugly shade. Her hands clenched into fists, her nails digging deep into her flesh, drawing blood. Bang. She gritted her teeth and slammed the door open. Samuel, so you've been lying to me all this time? Tears streaming down her face, she glared at Samuel with bloodshot eyes. Samuel, upon seeing her, was surprised at first, but then all he felt was disgust. A young, beautiful woman was lying in Samuel's arms, and when she saw my wife, she scoffed disdainfully. TCH, I thought you were someone important. Turns out you're just that self-righteous useless person. So what if he lied to you? Just look at yourself now. What right do you have to fight with me for Sam? My wife glared at the woman in fury. And who are you? I'm talking to Samuel. Who gave you the right to speak? What are you talking about? I'm Samuel's girlfriend. The confrontation between the 2 women was about to erupt. At that moment, Samuel pulled the woman into his arms, soothing her gently. All right, baby, don't get mad. She's not worth it. Chapter 9. You. What did you say, Samuel? How could you do this to me? It was me who saved you on Wolf Tooth Mountain. If not for me, you'd be dead by now. You promised to marry me back then. How can you? Hey, do you have any self-awareness? Take a look at yourself now. What part of you is worthy of me? Hearing his wife's accusation, Samuel impatiently responded, but I became like this because of you. His wife was furious, trying to stand up from the wheelchair, but she clumsily fell to the ground. She lay on the floor, unable to even roll over, like a pile of mush. Did I ask you to save me? Wasn't it your own choice? Samuel waved his hand dismissively, looking at her with disdain as he lay back on the bed. Then, he looked at me. Bro, I really pity you. I heard you put in a lot of effort to save her, but do you know what she says about you when I'm around? She says you're a waste, a coward, a green hat loser who wouldn't even dare to say anything if she slept with me in front of you. Ha 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 ha. He laughed loudly as he mocked me, but I remained calm, without a single sign of anger. Maybe in the past life, I would have gotten angry hearing such insults, but by now, I knew everything. So what? I asked him back. My calmness caught him off guard. Samuel froze, and then a teasing smile appeared on his face. You deserve to wear a green hat. You're so weak. As a man, I really look down on you. Is that so? I sarcastically raised an eyebrow. If that's the case, then as a man, you sure have made something of yourself. I moved slightly to the side, revealing the middle-aged woman standing behind me. The woman had a gloomy expression as she walked toward the bed. Samuel, I didn't know you had such great prospects. The middle-aged woman, named Monica, was Samuel's wife, a famous rural entrepreneur. She was a bit chubby, not very good-looking, but she was very capable and wealthy. She was 15 years older than Samuel, and everything he had, his comfortable life and his ability to live extravagantly, was thanks to her money. But Samuel not only failed to cherish her, he even cheated on her. In addition to his wife and the delicate young woman, Samuel had no idea how many women he had entangled with outside. When Samuel saw Monica, his face immediately changed. He shoved the young woman away from his arms and knelt in front of Monica. Wife, I was wrong. I won't do it again. Won't do it again. I'll believe that when pigs fly. Smack. Monica slapped Samuel across the face. His face immediately turned red, but he obediently knelt on the floor, not daring to make a sound, even offering his face to be slapped more easily. Monica grabbed his chin. Tell me the truth. How many little sluts have you been keeping with my money? And no, I haven't done anything. Wife, I'm loyal to you. It's all her. This slut seduced me. I couldn't resist and made a mistake. Samuel pushed all the blame onto the young woman. The woman, already scared senseless, lay on the ground, shaking her head furiously at Samuel's words. Chapter 10. No, that's not it. That's not what you said. Sam, you told me before that you only loved me. Smack. Before the young woman could finish speaking, Monica slapped Samuel again. This slap was much harder than the first one. Wife, go ahead and hit me. As long as it calms you down, you can hit me however you like. Hey. Hit you. You dirty my hands. Do it yourself, and keep going until I'm satisfied. Wife, Samuel hesitated, but upon seeing Monica's dark expression, he quickly complied. Smack. He raised his hand and tentatively slapped himself. That's too weak. It's just scratching an itch. Monica frowned in displeasure. Yes. Smack. Samuel gritted his teeth and slapped himself hard. The sound of the slap was sharp and clear, almost musical. Monica raised her phone and recorded the entire scene of him slapping himself. Keep going. Don't stop until I'm satisfied. Monica continued to order him. Samuel felt humiliated but didn't dare to resist. He could only kneel obediently and keep slapping himself. Smack. 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 With each slap, he hit himself harder, afraid that if he didn't, Monica wouldn't be satisfied. Stop. It's so noisy with all the slapping. After Samuel had slapped himself 50 times, Monica finally showed mercy, putting her phone away and telling him to stop. Thank you, wife. By now, Samuel's face was swollen and red, with blood oozing from the corner of his mouth. He could hardly speak. He pitifully clung to Monica's leg. Wife, I knew you were the best. Don't worry. I'll be good from now on. I won't dare anymore. Is that so? Monica kicked Samuel to the ground. He clutched a certain part of his body, crying out in pain. If I believed your words, I'd be a fool. We're getting a divorce. You won't get a single cent of my money, and all the money you spent on keeping those women, you'll pay it all back. Monica disdainfully dusted off her hands and turned to leave. Before she left, she glanced at my wife, who was squirming on the floor, and gave me a meaningful pat on the shoulder. Young man, need my help? I shook my head, a cruel smile forming on my lips. No need, madam. I'll take care of my own revenge. Monica had been brought in by me. After I told her about the scandal between my wife and Samuel, she immediately came to City A. I intentionally brought my wife to Samuel's hospital room, hoping to provoke him into revealing those things. The remaining 3 people in the room were stunned, especially my wife. When she saw Samuel's fate, her body shook uncontrollably. She finally faced reality, her lips trembling as she begged me. Husband. Jacob. I know I was wrong. I beg you, please don't do this to me, she cried, choking on her words, barely able to speak. Chapter 11. I gave a strange laugh. She trembled even more violently. Jacob, I was wrong. I really was wrong. I bent down gently and helped her into the wheelchair. Smiling at her, I said, what are you talking about, my dear wife? I will definitely take good care of you. Rest assured, I will take good care of you. A flash of cruelty flickered in my eyes, but my movements remained incredibly gentle. I believe you. She obediently nodded. but her body trembled uncontrollably, betraying the fear in her heart. I remembered how in my past life, she had poisoned me and ruined my health, all while pretending to care for me. Rest assured, Gabriella, we have a long time ahead of us. Samuel was completely finished. Monica specifically hired a young woman who was studying network operations to create an account dedicated to exposing Samuel's lies. The first video on that account was of Samuel kneeling on the floor, slapping himself. Many netizens watched it and felt immensely satisfied. Damn, Monica is awesome. This is how you deal with a cheating octopus. Hit him hard. I'll never believe those influencer ships again. They're all fake, probably already have partners, yet they act like they're single to deceive people and make money. Wow. Samuel actually has a wife. He used to post videos throwing shade at Gabriella. What's he even good for? These two are exactly the same. Not only that, the account kept exposing more and more, not only confirming that Samuel was married, but also showing that he had been cheating and living off his wife's money. It also revealed several women Samuel had seduced. There were teenage girls, college students in their 20s, and married women in their 30s. They all claimed that Samuel had swindled them out of money, cheated them, and toyed with their emotions. One of the married women Samuel had been involved with had a husband in the underworld. When he found out Samuel had messed with his wife, he sent people to beat him up. They not only crippled his leg but also ruined his third leg. Samuel was left as a cripple, destined to spend the rest of his life with a catheter bag. Moreover, Monica filed for divorce. She not only made him leave with nothing but also presented a bill worth millions, demanding that he pay her back. It was proven that Samuel had used the money for his affairs, not for the couple's living expenses. Samuel, unsurprisingly, lost the case. Now, he was not only a cripple who needed a catheter bag to survive, but he also had nothing left and was buried in debt. As for me, ever since my rebirth, I started looking for a job and eventually got hired by a big internet company. I worked long hours every day, though it was exhausting. It was incredibly fulfilling. As for my wife, she stayed in the room all day, living off leftover food, barely surviving. Every time I came home and opened the door, I was met with a stench from the room. She couldn't control herself and had defecated in the bed. I wrinkled my nose in disgust, and, just like she had scolded me in my past life, I rebuked her. Are you an animal? You can't even control your own waste. Even a dog wouldn't shit on the bed. Upon hearing my words, my wife's face turned bright red with embarrassment, but she still had to lower her head and beg me, please, Jacob, I beg you, take me to the bathroom and help me clean the bed. I can't stand it anymore. I really can't stand it. I rolled my eyes in annoyance. Seriously, who would want to help you with something so disgusting? You can manage on your own, can't you? After all, you're not much cleaner than that shit. I walked out of the room in disgust. Jacob, husband, I was wrong. I really was wrong. I ignored her pleading, pretending I hadn't heard anything. Chapter 12. As time went on, the filth and waste accumulated more and more on my wife's bed. She was submerged in that squalor every day, her body covered in bed sores, festering wounds all over her skin. It looked horrifying. She couldn't bear it any longer. She gathered all the money she had and begged me to show her some mercy. Husband, I beg you, please treat me better. I can't live like this anymore. I took the money, but was frustrated. But what about work? I still have to go to work every day. I can't be someone who never works, can I? Husband, please, I'll do anything. I just want you to help improve my situation. Well, how about this? I'll send you to a rehabilitation center. How does that sound? Okay, thank you, husband, thank you. Upon hearing my suggestion, she immediately agreed, her face filled with gratitude. All right then, but don't forget, this is your choice. I sent her to the rehabilitation center I had carefully selected. I was sure she'd like it. After all, it was she who discovered this place in my previous life. I had suffered a lot there. Since it was her idea, I had no choice but to send her to enjoy it. Although it was called a rehabilitation center, it was, in reality, a hell on earth. Everyone who had stayed there had suffered unimaginable pain. In my past life, I never had a single proper meal there. They only gave one meal a day, often spoiled and foul, but if you didn't eat, you would starve to death, and if you disobeyed, you would be brutally beaten. Whips, thorny branches, whatever the guards had, they would use to lash you. I had considered resisting before, but in that place, it was as if the world was deaf and blind to your cries. The people sent there were usually useless, disabled, or hopeless, with no way to seek help or escape. In the end, the beaten-down people would meekly eat the rotten food, becoming so accustomed to the abuse that they no longer knew how to fight back. I had been through that kind of torture in my previous life, and no matter how much I begged, I was never allowed to see my wife, nor could I leave that hellish place. It wasn't until the very end of my life that I saw her again. That was when I realized it had all been her doing. She had poisoned me, sent me to that hell to be tormented, and all the hatred I felt for her would stay with me forever. This time, as I watched the video from the rehabilitation center, my lips curled into a sinister smile. In the video, my wife had knocked over her meal because she didn't want to eat the rotten food. Not only was she punished by being starved for 3 days, but she also received a harsh whipping. Help me, I was wrong, I'll never do it again. My wife was covered in bruises, begging for mercy in a pitiful state. I spit on you. You still think you can be a human here? Dream on. This place is for punishing people like you. No one ever leaves here alive. The guard spat on her, crushing her last hope. Under such torture, my wife's body grew weaker and weaker. Added to the injuries she had sustained from being crushed by boulders in the past, many of her internal organs had been damaged. She had no more than a few years left to live. After just 6 months in the rehabilitation center, the guards called me, "Mr. Jacob, she's finished." Chapter 13. The moment my wife saw me, her eyes were filled with hatred. She tried desperately to grab my arm, but she couldn't even move a finger. All she could do was glare at me with those dim, lifeless eyes. I took a moment to observe her current condition. She was in an even worse state now than she had been 6 months ago when she was at home. She had become nothing but skin and bones, her once smooth skin now sagging and wrinkled, like rotting fruit peeled off the bone. The flesh on her face had been drained away, leaving deep sunken hollows. Not only that, her body was covered in a multitude of scars. Some were from whips, others from cigarette burns, and some were from fingernails digging into her skin. Her once beautiful long black hair, which she had always cherished, was now yellow, coarse, and brittle from malnutrition. The hair on her forehead had been shaved, and the remaining strands on the sides were unevenly cut. Just like her body, her scalp hadn't been spared either. The burns and cuts on her scalp were even more horrific. She struggled to speak, and when she did, I was surprised. "Jacob, how dare you treat me like this? It should be you lying here, not me." Upon hearing her words, my eyes narrowed dangerously. "So, you've been reborn too? I never imagined that you'd be reborn and torture me so horribly. You'll go to hell. You'll definitely go to hell." She cursed me weakly, but her feeble voice revealed the truth, that her end was near. She had likely been reborn in the moment of extreme suffering in the rehabilitation center. Learning that the woman who had poisoned me in my past life and tormented me was now the one suffering, I couldn't contain my joy. The feeling of vengeance reached its peak at that moment. I crouched down and, mimicking what she had done to me in my past life, whispered in her ear, "Gabriella, so what if you've been reborn? You've already lost. This time, I'm the one who wins. You can't change a thing. You'll only suffer here, just like I did in the past, tortured until death. How does it feel? Not so good, right? Too bad. Your body is so weak. You only lasted half a year. In my past life, I endured this for 3 whole years. Anyway, it doesn't matter. You're going to die soon. I won't argue with a corpse. Just enjoy your last moments of suffering. Don't worry. I'll take care of your body when you're gone." I gritted my teeth, my face twisted in a cruel smile as I taunted her. You. My wife let out a frustrated roar, but unfortunately, her life had already come to an end.